Two more topics to cover. Let's cover the lighter one, and then we'll go into the heavier one. So the lighter one is...
I mean, they're both kind of interesting. So one,
they're lighter in the sense that no one fucking died. So call her daddy. For those of you who don't know, it's one of the biggest podcasts in the world. They don't release download numbers because there's no video version of it, so you can't really like see the numbers because they're all private.
It's only behind the scenes, but it's very large.
They're on Libsyn. Like
huge.
they can see their own stats, but they're consistently in the top episodes in the world on like Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. So needless to say, they are doing big numbers. And basically there was this controversy, you might have heard about it, where for the past like 6 weeks, they haven't posted an episode. And leading up to that, they had this thing that they were calling The Trail, where like the titles of their episodes were kind of cryptic. And they were saying like, help me and like, help us, we're trapped. And, like, all this stuff.
The descriptions were also really cryptic too.
Yeah. And basically the whole point of The Trail was to say that, so they are owned by Barstool Sports, which is a large corporation founded by Dave Portnoy.
It's a network, a big network.
It's a network, exactly. But it's very like heavily tied in with like fraternity culture and like college culture and
the type of people that go to a bar, sit on a stool, and watch sports. Barstool Sports.
Barstool Sports, exactly. And they are very, very what's the word that I'm looking for? Like non-traditional. They're very crass, very open to cussing. They're
it's like frat bro-y. It's very frat bro-y.
And like, I think at one point they got acquired by like ESPN or Disney, and then they like sold them back because they were like, we can't have this shit on our network.
Disney.
Because like
Disney bought them and was like, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Because Disney owns ESPN, and so ESPN is like, whoop, come on over here, because Barstool Sports is huge. But then they just realized like, hey, we can't have people on our network talking about pussies and stuff. And that's what Barstool Sports is. So anyways, Call Her Daddy, for people who don't know, it's a podcast with these two girls, Alex and Sophia. They are like best friends. They live in New York City, and it's mainly about like sex. Like that's like their main topic.
It's like hookup culture, basically.
Yeah, and it's really entertaining because these two girls just live this like life that I would never have that window into. I think that's the most interesting thing for me to listen to it. It's like,
that's why people are interested in this podcast too.
Yeah,
It's into a life that they've never seen before.
Yeah, and into a friendship too.
Yeah,
like
facts.
It's these two girls that are hot and like are always hooking up with like athletes and rich dudes and getting flown around the country.
I wish I could hook up with athletes and rich dudes. Damn.
Same, bro. Same. and like basically they get like flown around the country to like hook up with random dudes. Anyways, it's hilarious, and they're really funny and really silly, and they're kind of like the frat boy equivalent of girls. Like they talk about everything. So anyways, that's the appeal of it, is that they're like liberating.
Whatever the female equivalent of a fuckboy is, that's what they are.
Totally. So anyways, the whole thing that has been revealed over the past week, basically past 2 weeks, is so they weren't posting episodes because they were trying to renegotiate their deal, and they were trying to basically get the rights to the show because Barstool owns the show.
Well, they were asking for a lot.
Well,
they were asking for way more than that.
Here's the whole backstory. So Sophia and Alex are the two girls. Sophia has been dating this dude named Peter Nelson, who's an executive for HBO Sports.
AKA Suit Man.
And they call him Suit Man. They never wanted to share his name. He's not on social media either, and they were trying to keep him anonymous, but everyone figured out who he is. His name is Peter Nelson. He's a fucking dork.
And he looks so weird in the face.
He looks like the Easter Island heads.
Yes, he looks like Easter.
Mixed with Quagmire from Family Guy, mixed with Lord Farquaad from Shrek.
Yes.
He's got the weirdest, like, most chiseled face. And
like,
he's just
boxiest,
he looks like his voice would sound like this. Hello, my name is Peter Nelson. Like, he's just the weirdest fucking looking dude. Anyways, he sucks. Fuck Suit Man. So anyways,
he might be responsible for...
Oh, he ruined Call Her Daddy.
All of this.
He ruined Call Her Daddy. So I'll explain. So for people who don't know, I'll kind of breeze through this. So
you're going to have to, because there's like 3 hours of videos.
People that are listening might know already this whole backstory. But Suitman and Sophia were dating, and basically the whole time they're dating, Suitman is like, you guys are getting fucked on your deal. You should be making way more money. This is not industry standard. And granted, they should be making millions of dollars. And they were always on the show complaining about how they were getting fucked by Barstool, and Barstool wasn't paying them enough. And in their original contract, they were going to make $70,000 a year, but there was bonuses for downloads.
And both of them made over $500,000 last year.
So yeah, it came out that they made over $500,000 last year, which isn't nothing. That's a lot. That's a good amount of money.
Comfortable.
People
That's
were thinking that they were getting
comfortable.
paid like hourly or something by Barstool. They thought they were getting like fucked in the butt. But well, they were, but not by Barstool.
Not by Barstool. And also that's relative. It's relative.
So anyways, they were trying to renegotiate. Basically, long story short, Suitman had this list of all these crazy asks. Demands, really. And they kept coming back to Barstool with these renegotiations. And every time
not doing anything good for Barstool, just demanding.
And every time they would meet them halfway, they would always ask for more. And basically, it came to the point where there was kind of a standstill, and it was like during COVID. So it was like,
I think Dave shut down negotiations when they kept getting greedy. Like when they kept getting greedy, and he was like, you know what, fine.
There wasn't a shutdown. They basically had this one meeting that was like right before COVID, or maybe it was during COVID.
You're talking about the rooftop meeting.
Yes, the rooftop deal. So they went and they met at Dave's rooftop, and basically he offered them a deal that Alex,
a sweet deal, like
thought that they
deal.
couldn't refuse. Their contract was like for 3 years. He shortened it down to do it for 1 more year, and at the end they get the show. They get all the rights. They get the IP to Call Her Daddy, which has only happened in the history of shows a few times. Like Howard Stern got his IP. And I can't think of the other person that got their IP.
No one gets their IP.
Like no one gets their IP. The network owns the IP, and there's no reason to sell it back. Like,
yeah.
And the reason
that's the whole point. A network is in this business. It's taking risks to make
and at the end of the day,
thing in order to try to make money. It's like
at the end of the day, fuck middlemen. Like fuck Barstool for like owning the show and not giving it back to these girls.
But do you think the Call Her Daddy girls could have done it on their own?
Here's the thing. Alex is very talented, and she knows what's up. She edits YouTube videos, so she edits her own vlogs. She edits the podcast, which I didn't realize this. She in her like 35-minute YouTube video that she came out with, she said that they actually record for 3 hours for Call Her Daddy, and then she edits it down to 1 hour for the show. So the show is actually 3 hours long of them just talking back and forth, and then she picks out the best things and cuts it down to 1 hour. And I think that's why the show is really good,
because it's
there's
the best
only the best of the best. She only has the cream of the crop, and that's also why it's not on video. I didn't realize that, because if it was on video, you'd realize that they're jumping around all the time. But it's an audio show, so they chop it down.
We don't edit around here.
We don't edit. We don't make AJ do all that bullshit. But anyways, and Sophia was not doing anything, apparently. Like, a lot of times she was not coming to the podcast with topics. She was not editing. She wasn't... Basically, she was really good talent on the show.
She was a sidekick, but that's it.
But she kind of didn't do anything else. And Alex expressed her frustrations on the newest podcast, and where she basically said, like, there would be times where Sophia would literally be, like, on a plane to go visit Suitman, and Alex was at home in their New York City apartment, like editing, and like, wow, what the fuck? Like, my partner in this isn't even like sitting here helping me edit the show. She's literally just saying fuck you and like going on a trip. And I can see how that's really frustrating. And so at one point, Alex went and asked for a raise behind Sophia's back,
and she got it.
And she got it because she explained to Dave, like, yo, I'm doing way more than half of the work. Like, please give me a raise. And she decided at that point not to tell Sophia, because Sophia behind closed doors was always telling her, like, please don't share that you do more of the work because it makes me look bad. She was always expressing that, like, please don't, like, when people would ever ask, like, oh, so who edits the show? And she would chime in and go, oh, we do. She wouldn't say like, oh, Alex does. She'd say, oh, we do. Or like,
which is so the opposite of you and I, because I always like give you so much credit for what you do, because it's very clear and it's very obvious, like, that you do a lot of like the laborious, like heavy lifting stuff when it comes to the creative side of things.
Yeah, and luckily there's no one that's paying both of us or something.
I mean, this is another prime example of why autonomy is so fucking important to me. Like, no one will ever own Wheels to Walking, ever. Like, no stakeholder, no control, no shares, no public traded, nothing. Jack shit. Nothing. Like,
we get a sick deal like Joe Rogan or something. Well, they're still not owning it. It's like a licensing
but
deal.
Even still, it's like, dude, I've seen in my lifetime too many horror stories of people jumping on what they think is a good deal, and then it turns out to be a bad deal that ruins everything.
Yeah.
Like, I am not going to do that. Like, I don't care if it's taking me longer. I don't care if I've said no to hundreds of opportunities and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm keeping this as pure as possible, because like,
you got to hold out for the big bucks.
Not only that, and I don't like people talking in my fucking head.
True that.
No one needs to, like, this is our shit. Like, this is what our doing. Like, your voice doesn't matter. Shut up and go away. And like, and there's certain people.
And that's what was happening with Suitman is he has never even like listened to the show, but he just took it upon himself to like start all these negotiations, and he started shopping out Call Her Daddy to other networks, selling it. And there was apparently this one network called Wondery that already was like ready to sign a deal with them. And they were going to call the show The Fathers instead of Call Her Daddy. Like, one of the nicknames for them is like, they're the fathers, the founding fathers or whatever. So long story short, Alex decided at the end when they went for this deal, they were going to be 50-50 and they were going to get the show at the end of a year, one more year. So they were cutting the deal down and they were going to get the IP. Dave was giving them the deal of the century.
Not only IP, I think he was also giving higher percentages on like merch sales. And
and he was going to, at the end, he was going to give them everything except for alcohol. Because apparently that's one of the big things with Barstool right now is they're kind of like making brands of alcohol based on their other shows and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And yeah, there's apparently going to be a drink. Apparently, this was like rumored that there was going to be a Gluck Gluck 9000 drink, which is one of their things, one of their names for a blowjob technique. So, anyways, so
you heard that right.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense for Barstool to be like, "Yo, that's the long play," because merch you buy once or twice. If it's alcohol and it's a good drink, people drink alcohol pretty frequently. It's disposable. You drink it once and you got to buy it again. It's consumable. And
it's a luxury consumable item, basically.
And it's kind of a flex. It's like a fun thing. Like, oh, you're drinking the Gluck Gluck drink? Like, it's funny. Like, girls would think it's hilarious that they're drinking a blowjob drink. Like, and guys. So it's like, it'd be like.
I mean, if you know anything about alcoholic drinks already, they all already have like sexual names to them.
True that. A lot of them do. So anyways, Alex and Sophia couldn't come to an agreement. Sophia didn't want to take the deal and she wanted to keep asking for more. And Alex was like, yo, this is the deal of the century. We need to take it now. And they weren't on the same page. So basically Alex went to Dave and said, I want to take the deal by myself. Because he did offer them at one point, like, yo, you can go do a show by yourself and you can go do a show by yourself if you want to. Like, I'll offer Sophia a show if you want to, like, not keep doing what you're doing. And that's what happened. So Dave gave the reins to Call Her Daddy to Alex. I don't know the specifics of the deal, but I would assume that she's now getting both of their income. So she's probably making over $1 million this year, if not more.
Because, yeah, he was going to give each of them a $500,000 guarantee. So
plus bonuses for downloads and all that.
So she might as well give her the $1 million.
The full thing, because it's no more. You know, in whatever.
What's the Suitman's girlfriend's name again?
Sophia.
So like Sophia. I'm sorry. What an idiot. She walked away with nothing. No show, no IP, no paycheck. All because she's dating this Suitman guy who thinks he knows better for her than she does. And she made herself disposable. And we talk about that all the time. The way that you keep your fucking job is make sure that they cannot fire you because you are so valuable, that no one can do your job. No one can do what you do. No one can do how you do it. And it's like, she made herself extremely disposable.
And she thought that she wasn't, because she was like, I am half of Call Her Daddy.
She was demanding you're like 10%
half of the front end.
Yeah, like you're half of the visuals, you're half of the like the on board, but like behind the scenes, and you know this and I know this, behind the scenes so much more happens. Like,
oh yeah. Like, and that was the thing. It was like they had a real friendship, and the episode that they came out with that Alex dropped yesterday, it was called The Funeral, because
it's like that friendship is gone now thanks to Suitman.
It's really sad.
So hey, Suitman, you fucked up a show and you fucked up a friendship. Good job.
Yeah, and I mean Sophia.
Also, Sophia, you're stupid as shit.
But you know what's crazy is I didn't realize that they were dating. Like, so you know when Call Her Daddy went on Logan's podcast, Impulsive?
Oh, forever ago, yeah.
They were dating then.
Oh.
Sophia and Suitman were together then. And one thing that happened was Alex said, you remember on the podcast when they were like, let's go clubbing afterwards? And they were like, oh, no, I don't think we can, whatever. That's not really our scene. Suitman just so happened to book a flight to LA to do some business during that same week when they were out in LA. And Alex was all excited because she's like, this is our first business trip. This is so exciting, blah, blah, blah. And the whole time, Sophia's like texting Suitman, and Suitman's like, come see me, blah, blah, blah. And there's all this stuff where like Sophia went to go get her hair done, but then it like lasted like an extra 2 hours because she went to go see Suitman and didn't say anything, and like all this dumb shit. And then on top of that, he said something like, if you don't see me on this trip, you'll regret it or something like that. And then there was this one night where they wanted to go out with like Logan and Mike and all them to a club, and Sophia went with Suitman, and Alex had to like sit in her hotel room because she's like, this is gonna look bad if I'm out partying by myself. Like we are a unit, we are Call Her Daddy. It's gonna look weird,
especially if you're hanging out with Logan. Yeah, it's like Logan and Mike together. It's
exactly. But I mean, Logan's Logan and Mike is Mike, but like they are Call Her Daddy. Like people don't even know the names of them. You know what I mean? Like people know Logan Paul. He's Logan Paul. Like Call Her Daddy, you're like, I don't know the name. Who's the girl that's dating Suitman? You know what I mean? Like people don't know the names.
I don't listen to the show. Like I'm not a 20-something singles chick.
But even when you listen to the show, you don't know their names because they're not saying each other's names. How many times did I say Richard during this podcast?
I mean, never.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's
you're like, oh, you mean the podcast with the guy in a wheelchair and a guy not in a wheelchair?
And it doesn't help that there's no video. It's only audio.
Yeah,
so you only know their names if you follow them on Instagram and like
or listen to their voices or whatever.
So all that to say, the funeral episode was really good. It was Alex by herself, and the turn that she's doing, the move that she kind of came up with, is because a lot of people were like, you should try to find another co-host.
The pivot.
Blah, blah, blah. The pivot is that she is, she put a form up where you can submit stories that you think belong on like Call Her Daddy or whatever. And so like the whole audience is called like the Daddy Gang. So like the Daddy Gang is going to be now like a part of the show in every episode.
Daddy Gang will be a co-host, basically.
They're going to feature another member of the Daddy Gang, and they're going to find people with the craziest Daddy Gang stories, because that was a big part of the show too.
Penthouse forums.
Well, that was the biggest part of the show, was actually people writing in and like talking about their crazy sexcapades or like whatever the fuck they were doing, their Daddy Gang shit. And they would like talk about it, and they're like, "Oh my god, that is so Daddy Gang," or whatever. So now, and she said like, maybe if some of you are good enough, maybe one of you will become my co-host. So I think that's like a solid move. It's gonna like add some spice into it. But yeah, all that to say, a lot of drama, a lot of craziness. But Suitman is a dumbass. Sophia fucked herself over.
All she did was bust into the room, start screaming and yelling, demanding everything. And then when it all was all said and done, she left with nothing because she had no leverage, and because she wasn't valuable.
You know what the funniest part is? So apparently a couple of days ago, Scooter Braun got involved. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, and Dave Portnoy was like talking mad shit. Oh,
he had to like take down a video too, because Scooter asked that. He was like, I took it down because Scooter asked me to like leave him out of it. But basically, apparently someone got involved with Scooter Braun, and Scooter Braun, if you don't know, is the guy who's behind Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande. He's behind a lot of big artists. And one of the big gripes against Scooter Braun right now is that he won't give Taylor the rights to her music. Like, he will not sell them to her no matter what. Like, he owns the rights to her music and whatever. So it's funny that he is now involving himself in this, because they called Erica, who's like Dave's right-hand man. He didn't have the balls to call fucking Dave. And basically, he was like trying to renegotiate that Sophia gets 50%. It's like, yo, you don't realize, Sophia, you're done. You're out.
What happened is Suitman reached out to all his connections and found someone who knew Scooter and told him enough of the story that Scooter would then call Dave and try to be like, hey, you know, this and that, yada yada, blah blah blah. And then Dave's like, Scooter, stay out of this. You have no idea what the fuck's going on.
He's never watched the show.
I don't know who called you. I don't know who talked to you. I don't know why you're calling me, but stay the fuck out of this.
And Alex was pissed. She's like, I'm so tired of all these men who like think they know what's up, that have never listened to the show. They don't know what the Daddy Gang is. They don't know what the show is about. They've never even listened to an episode. And they're the ones trying to like renegotiate my money. It's like, stay the fuck out. I got this. And I was like, yes, go fucking Alex. Like I really gained a lot of respect for her. I mean, because even though she is like degrading herself on a daily basis on the show, she's a smart businesswoman and has proven herself, and like, she's actually, I think, the main talent of the show. And
she's one of these girls with like big dick energy.
Bye, Sophia.
Where it's like, if you are an employee or you work in or around Barstool, you gotta have thick skin.
Oh, for sure.
That's just Barstool itself. Barstool is always wrapped in some type of, you know,
drama or
some type
shit.
Of controversy, some type of something all the time. It's like, Barstool Sports is like what Chive was 10 years ago, you know?
True that. Like, true fucking that.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, man. It's very interesting to...
Chive TV.
Fucking Chive. Don't get me started on fucking Chive.
Hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode, you can click right here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can click right here. If you want to watch more clips, we got 2 more right over here.